CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. Thanks for being here. Hudson Mack is away tonight. The escalated job action comes on the heels of a new poll showing the teachers' strike is taking a toll on the BC Liberal government. While voters support the teachers, they don't support the BCTF. And if an election were to be held today, the NDP would win with a landslide. CTV's legislature reporter Stephen Andrew joins us now with more. Stephen.
Well, Joe, landslide barely describes what would happen if an election were held today. Despite the Christy Clark and the Liberals trying to paint themselves as conservative, they've dropped even further in the polls to the point that we could see a recurrence of 2001. But then it was the NDP reduced to a devastating minority. The NDP is sitting at 47% in the polls right now, a poll by Forum Research. That sends the Liberals plummeting to 21%, tying with the Conservatives, the Greens sitting at 9%. But when you take a look at how that Forum projection looks at actual seats, the NDP would take all but 10 of the seats in the legislature, and the Conservatives, who up until this poll looked like they were going to win a few seats in the BC Ledge, for the time being, they are out of the game. And according to one political scientist, the teachers' job action is helping to drag the Liberal support down.
I think it just underlines the sense of confidence. The big problem the Liberals have right now is that people don't have a sense of confidence in their ability to govern. They seem to be too engaged in politics, not enough in doing good public policy and good governing. And the teachers' dispute was an opportunity to show people that they could take hold of an agenda and manage it well, but people haven't come away convinced.
But voters are not giving teachers a passing grade in this dispute. Half of those surveyed disapprove of withdrawing extracurricular activities, and it appears teachers are winning the political battle. More than half of voters do not like the job that Education Minister George Abbott is doing. Compare that to Susan Lambert, who fares a little bit better, but the BCTF leader isn't getting overwhelming support for her handling of the Labor dispute. Now, Joe, it appears that the public is really seeing through the rhetoric on all political sides here. While they are supporting the teachers, they're not enthusiastic about the union, and they don't appear to agree with the government's handling of this situation. So, Joe, teachers need to be very careful moving forward, as does the government. If the Liberals continue this slide in the polls, they could find themselves in third place behind the Conservatives.
Oh, we'll watch what happens. Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Well, a skiff of snow overnight made streets around the capital region extra slippery this morning. It's only the beginning of spring, and police are reminding drivers that winter isn't over yet. The driver lost control on the icy roads and went sliding into a fence on Brayfoot Road and Mackenzie Avenue early this morning. Moments later, a vehicle and a cyclist collided at the crash scene. Police say the cyclist had minor injuries. Then shortly after 7, emergency responders were busy trying to clear up Cedar Hill Crossroad as one crash led to another. Police say 2 vehicles struck each other head-on, causing a chain reaction.
Coming down the hill here on Cedar Hill Cross with a slight curve. Behind me, the little blue car lost control on the icy roads, crossed over head-on into the dark blue pickup truck. As that collision was happening, the green car was following the blue car, trying to avoid the collision, again hitting the ice, struck the blue car, and the 2 of them rotated and ended up colliding with this gray pickup truck, who slid into the fence afterwards.
The good news, no one was hurt. Police say drivers need to remember to slow down as the weather can change quickly and condensation on the roads freezes fast. Well, a new deal has been struck between the province and the RCMP. Municipalities across BC, including a number of communities up and down Vancouver Island, can expect to dig a little deeper into their pockets. The RCMP has signed a new 20-year contract with the government, which is going to cost you more money. The BC government says the new contract will give provinces more control over how the RCMP operate. Under the new agreement, the province and municipal governments will have greater input into how the RCMP spends its funding, how operations are structured, and who is appointed to senior management positions. And with more responsibility comes more costs. BC's bill for policing will jump from $310 million to nearly $316 million. Canada's public safety minister says it's well worth it.
We don't have to get together in a room anymore and wrestle about sections of the agreement. It's all worked out very, very well.
For the first time, we will have the ability to question costs, to look at breakdowns of costs, to say, do we really need to have those kinds of things take place in British Columbia? That's an enormous management gain.
The province and federal governments clashed over negotiations last year. The Premier and Attorney General threatened to ditch the RCMP in favor of a provincial force if terms of the contract weren't changed. The new deal has ramifications for people in Esquimalt. BC's Justice Minister is expected to decide whether to allow Esquimalt to sign a contract with the RCMP for community policing this coming fall. The province is stepping up to help Vancouver Islanders of all ages stay active, and it's going to do it by investing nearly $3 million into southern Vancouver Island's recreational facilities. The goal is to motivate people to stay physically active by expanding and updating gyms, improving childcare and recreation centers, and adding more programs to get people moving. The province says it is funding up to 80% of the costs under the Community Recreation Program, which goes toward improving recreational infrastructure in the capital region.
So 9 projects around the South Island. Here at Henderson, we've got one in Saanich, one in Central Saanich, Highlands, Souk, even in Cowichan Valley, in Esquimalt, in Victoria. All these projects are designed to help increase recreational opportunities, fitness opportunities, health and wellness opportunities, and even in some cases, accessibility. The Premier's agenda, one of her priority areas of her agenda is to have people be healthy and fit.
And the minister says the initiative will create more than 700 jobs on Vancouver Island. A Thrifty Foods campaign to support hospital foundations up and down Vancouver Island. One Buck brand orange at a time has peeled back its total. Thrifty Foods says nearly $85,000 was raised through the sale of 4-pound bags of certified organic Buck brand navel oranges. Orange, you glad you donated? $60,000 came from in-store sales and $20,000 was donated by Buck brand itself through the Building Care Together campaign. Thrifty Foods says this donation will help to purchase state-of-the-art medical equipment for the Royal Jubilee Patient Care Centre. Thrifty Foods has been supporting hospitals in island communities such as Victoria, the Saanich Peninsula, the Gulf Islands, Nanaimo, Campbell River and Comox for more than 34 years. 5 teenagers from the Cowichan Valley have been rescued after spending 2 chilly nights stranded on a logging road. They set out to go four-wheeling on Monday up the McClure Mainline logging road behind Lake Cowichan, but their Jeep had ran out of gas. After spending the first night with his friends, one of the teens walked out on Tuesday morning and called for help. The rest of the group wasn't found until today. All of them were cold and hungry, but they are all expected to recover. Welcome back. A student at Vancouver Island University is campaigning against disposable water bottles and coffee cups, and she's making her point with a public art installation. She used another student as her canvas, covering him with a year's worth of disposable cups representing the average person's waste from takeout drinks. The idea is to encourage people to carry reusable coffee cups and water bottles.
Well, if you think about it, over 50% of North America drinks 1 coffee a day. And if you add that up to everybody drinking at least having 1 cup a day over 1 year, that's a huge impact. So I'm doing this campaign to show that one person can make a difference and that small steps make a big difference.
Students at VIU were encouraged to sign up for a 1-month pledge and not to use disposable cups or water bottles.